Welcome, AfterBuzzers, to episode 8 of Raising Dion. We're one episode away from the finale, and so many things are heating up. Stay tuned for more.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome back, everybody. Hi, ladies. How are we doing today on this gorgeous Tuesday?
Good.
I'm your host, Karla. I'm joined by my amazing girl squad. I have Miss Kay Montgomery. She is lover of all things Esperanza.
That's right. I'm so excited about this episode.
And we have Michael B. Jordan's biggest fan, Miss Suzi G.
What's up, guys?
Today we're going to be talking about Suzanne and Nicole, Charlotte, boundaries between Rashad, Pat, and Esperanza, of course, our sweetest moments, and some news and gossips for all of you. But before we do all of that, what were some of our overall thoughts, ladies?
Crazy. There is a big thing that we did not see coming with Pat. I don't think anybody saw coming. It was great.
It was a shocker. And for me, it turned this whole series from must watch to absolutely you got to watch this.
I feel like we've been mad at the wrong person the whole season. We owe Suzanne an apology. Biona, everyone.
That's true.
We've been mean to them, and we totally have the wrong person, but we'll definitely get into who the real villain is now at the end of this episode. But let's start off with Suzanne and Nicole. So at the beginning of the episode, you see Nicole rushing into Biona like a mad woman, wanting to find out where Dion is. And throughout all of this, I was so irritated with Suzanne. She was just like calm, cool, collected. And literally my first question was, do you have any children of your own? Like, I don't even have children. And I have more sympathy for the situation than she does. She's like, I did you a favor.
Right. It was interesting, though, because I actually went back to the previous episode where they were spying on him with Lars because we still kind of thought that we weren't sure about Suzanne. And then I kind of saw that they waited for the hospital to call the CDC, and then they called in and said, you know, we have the quarantine 3. So you kind of start seeing that Suzanne's not all bad.
I don't know if I saw it yet. I don't know if that was my moment, just because I thought she was really cold throughout the whole situation, right. Or even making her wear that hideous outfit to go in to see Dion. Like, what is this little boy going to do to you?
Right.
Like, at most, you're going to levitate off the ground.
Yeah, like she's been with him his entire life, but this one scene, you know, you have to go in with the suit and the goggles. I was like, oh, give me a break. Yeah.
But she finally kind of gave that smile when she took off the suit and was like, let the mom do it. Let her take the suit off.
Yeah. It was interesting because for once I feel like I was kind of mad at her at first, but then as the episode progresses, you see that she actually was not lying about anything.
No.
Which I was extremely shocked by. And what's crazy, though, is that Pat is the one that first says it, like, oh, I think she's actually on our side.
Right.
And even then I was like, yeah, right, get out of here.
Yeah.
But then none of what she was selling, none of what Biona was selling was a lie.
That's true.
Which is very true.
So maybe she just gives weird vibes. Like, she just the way she looks, you know, maybe she needs a sense of humor.
Right. She's just cold. Well, how has Pinchy survived? That's what I want to know. How is Pinchy still alive?
What is Pinchy? Yeah, what does he need to survive? What's his nutrition?
But everything is decomposing, and like, you know, they had all these injured animals in there, but Pinchy is pulling through.
Maybe Dion. Dion's the reason why. Because I feel like when he like sets his mind to wanting to fix something, which is what we end up finding out is actually the real reason for him healing things. I feel like when he sets his mind to wanting to make a situation better, he can really do it.
Right.
So it's nice that his powers come from like the sweetest place possible. But before we move on to our next topic, ladies, Suzi has a very special announcement for all of our viewers.
Well, if you guys are on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to us and definitely leave a comment because you can go live with us through all of our channels. Definitely. Follow us at AfterBuzz TV across our socials. Leave comments there and give us 5 stars on iTunes. We are so excited to have you with us here. You guys are our superhero fans, so thanks for making us the ESPN of TV talk.
Thank you so much. So on to our next topic, we have Charlotte, which she has her funny ways of entering scenes, just like knocking, invisible. You can hear her footsteps. I was very surprised to actually watch her want to stay. It was very, finally, I feel like we kind of saw hints of her being a sweet, motherly, like, nurturing person, and finally it happened. And Nicole, like, kind of invited her into her family, and she's like, you know what, I'm sticking around for this little boy.
Right.
Because I feel like she did it because she doesn't want the life that she has for Dion. Because she mentions it. She's like, I literally, at first I thought she chose that life to survive, but she really had nothing to fight for in regards to, like, loved ones.
Right. She's just a lonely woman that doesn't have any family. And so this becomes her family, which is fun to see as the episodes keep going on.
And Dion really gives her a purpose, I think, and then she follows him all throughout school. What did you guys think of her standing up to the principal?
That was amazing.
I love that. I love that so much. Yes. She just shoved that principal down and he ate it and all the kids laughed. I was like, yeah.
I love how she's like, this is so boring. Like, what do they do here all day? Like, it's just kind of funny. Like, her sense of humor comes out in these funny ways. And we also, too, though, in this episode, she kind of makes light of the fact of Brayden, that she, went back and realized that there's this second generation superhero. And so she kind of tells Nicole about that, which is also kind of big, knowing that there are second generational kids out there.
Yeah, well, for now it's Brayden and Dion.
Yes.
What did you guys think of Nicole wanting to keep Charlotte a secret? Why? Why do you think she maybe made that choice?
I hadn't really thought about that.
I just thought it was weird. Like, why? Like, that could easily just be like, let's say, oh, that's her aunt. But I mean, Pat was at the Aurora event. So,
right.
So he, let's say, would have probably put two and two together.
Yes.
But she did want to keep her a secret. But I feel like with Dion, you really can't do that.
Or if she...
But he did a pretty good job of keeping her a secret.
Did he? Mm-hmm. No, yeah, you're right. He didn't
because
say.
Because he on the elevator he was like, so who did you guys have over? And he was asking a bunch of questions, and Dion was like, I'm not supposed to talk about that.
Yes,
you're right.
I'm not supposed to say anything about it.
I thought it was great that Pat picked up on that coffee cup, and I mean, he was angry because he thought it was a man and it was Charlotte. But I think one of the reasons for keeping her a secret is that I think, the Aurora event, he could have put that together, even if she had said, I mean, he knows of Charlotte Tuck, so if her name would have slipped, it would have just, he would have known who she was. Or if she would have slipped doing some kind of zap. Remember when she said, I can just zap him?
Yeah.
One piece the wrong way, or she said something. Yeah. So I think it was just more to protect her, since Pat is aware of all of this.
I think once I saw that he noticed the breakfast and all the extra things laying around, I knew we were going downhill after that.
Oh, yeah.
You can see, like, the jealousy start brewing, which actually brings us to our next topic, which is boundaries between everyone. I feel like Nicole's having a boundary issue with so many people. I wouldn't say Rashad is, like, an issue, but he's a factor.
Oh,
and then, of course, there's Pat, and then we're going to end on Esperanza, which I think is a super touchy subject. But starting with Rashad. So she was not going to dance with him. She's like, look, I can't today. She just earned her promotion. She's not risking that. She's going to get her job done. And then he's like, well, that's the favorite, like, that's my favorite part of the day. Like, how are you going to take that away from me? And she goes, you know what? We can do it. I was waiting for them to just make out. Just give it to us, please.
Yes.
I love that. I thought what was interesting, and a dichotomy between Rashad and boundaries and Pat and boundaries, is that she was really upset. She was like, I got to do this thing for school. I got to hurry up and take this down to the printers, and I got to do this, and I got to do this. And I know you're going to tell me that I need to take time for myself, but I don't have time to do that. And he was like, I wasn't about to say that at all. You got to do what you got to do. Like, I'm not here to tell you what to do and make you feel guilty. Which the opposite of that, he respects boundaries. See, the opposite of that is Pat, who wants to pull all on your arm when you're leaving, who wants to tell you, you owe me X, Y, and Z. I thought that was a very interesting dichotomy. Besides, I couldn't help but think about Pat doing his little twerking move, dancing, which I thought was hilarious. And then, like, swipe left, swipe right, the Tinder move. And then you see Nicole dancing with Rashad, and you're like, it's a whole different level.
That's dancing.
Yeah, but I thought the example of those boundaries was just, I was like,
Pat has none. And we've seen, though, through, again, other episodes that there's, like, references to him being overbearing, overwhelming with other women. So here he goes after like Nicole saying like we should have been a family. He's in love with her. Then he shows up at her work again. Like he does not get it, that man.
Not at all. And that's what I thought was so crazy, is that this whole time, like you did mention that there are references to like that he's a little overbearing, but I always took it as just someone who genuinely cares. But we see now that can be like completely, you can completely rub someone the wrong way if you're like a little too pushy. Even showing up at the studio, like why? That's way too much.
Way too much.
So then we see that like that scene ends. I think he's going home. He's gone. You know, he already saw what he saw. That's enough to like upset you to just be like, okay, you know, we're really not going to be a thing. Then he's waiting outside the door.
Again.
And I'm just like, go home. Stop. What are you doing?
I'm saying that's when masculinity turns toxic, because he has no boundaries, so he can't take no for an answer, right? Because what pushing boundaries and toxic masculinity teaches you is that someone always owes you something. You've put in work. I bought you dinner. You owe me this. I bought you this thing. You owe me this. So I spent all this time with your kid. I've been mentoring your kid. You owe me a relationship. Right? So for me, I was just like, oh, Pat. I mean, it was such a huge, before we even got to the end, that point.
He had let us down.
That was the nail in the coffin.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was it for me too, for sure. I don't like that, you know, you're sitting there being a genuinely nice person from what we see, but then you have like a checklist of things that you think someone owes you.
Right.
No, you're the godfather. Like, isn't this what you would want to do, like, as an instinct to care about someone? But I feel like that was the beginning of the possessiveness, right?
Yes.
That's where it started. And I feel like right from that moment on, Nicole got the vibe that, like, okay, something is off. Because she then calls Charlotte saying, pick Dion up, don't let Pat near him. And that's basically how the episode ends. But we'll get into that. We're going to move on to Esperanza. I love her. She's adorable. And then so we have Jonathan, Esperanza, and Dion working on a school project.
Right.
And then we see Dion, you know, getting a little jealous between Jonathan and Esperanza's dynamic, which is kind of funny considering that he didn't want the friendship to begin with, you know? He was like, no, I don't want to be your friend. And now he's like getting pretty jealous. But then we start seeing Jonathan, we start seeing like more of his personality. He's not very confident when you can tell, like the teacher's asking about his project. And he's just kind of like, oh, like he doesn't want to say too much about it. He doesn't want to speak in front of everybody. So I think Esperanza is a good influence on him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because we saw him as a bully in the beginning, and we thought he was this bully character. And now we're seeing a side of him that's a little bit, has some self-esteem issues, probably inside in school, and not feeling maybe as smart as Esperanza and Dion doing the science project with them.
So, I mean, and being a school counselor, I know that's typical with kids that are bullies. They usually have low self-esteem. So I wasn't surprised by that. I thought it was really interesting, just kind of like a thread running or a theme running throughout the show also. It's kind of the blurred line between who you thought were your friends and who you thought were your enemies. Because even there's a point in the hallway where Esperanza's like, oh, we're going to play Zelda after school. And then Jonathan goes over to his like bully crew and she says, I don't know why he hangs out with them. They're so mean to him. And I thought that was so interesting because I thought they were like a little bully gang, but she said they're mean to him. And so he's recognizing what real friendship is and hanging out with kids that he used to bully. So who are your friends and who are your enemies? You know what I mean? Kind of a thing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Miss Invisible Esperanza, again, picking up on that different dynamic, which is great.
She's so smart.
Yes.
And then what better person to like humble you, show you the best things in Esperanza, you know? She's the sweetest. Yes. So as the episode progresses, we see, so I feel like Dion wanted to show off. Wanted to be like, oh, I'm cooler than Jonathan. Like, you play Zelda, but I can levitate you. Which was not the way to go. Why do you think she got so upset by that?
I think we've never known why she's in this wheelchair. And, you know, Dion wanted to see if he could make her walk. And I think, you know, that just is something that is very upsetting to her. And she knows that she's not going to be able to. And so I think it just rattled her quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, he's a kid. So what does he know about ableism? You know, his mom has a talk with him about it, kind of about it afterwards. But I think it's essentially that. And I think Charlotte actually does a really good job talking to him about it too, because he says, well, I just see her as my friend Esperanza, and and that's when Charlotte says, well, maybe she doesn't know that. Right. Because to her, it seems like you're trying to change her, right? So, and I know, especially Sammy's character, tries to see differences as a superpower. So if someone is differently abled and you're trying to make them regular, or trying to make them what you think is regular, that's not appreciating for them for who they are. You know what I mean? So I think it was kind of a slap in the face for her. Because she never tried to make him change his powers or hide that he has powers or change who he is, right? So why would you try and change who I am? So I thought that was a good, just embedded really nicely into that episode. I thought that was perfectly done.
I love that, just because if there are other kids watching this, it's like the perfect teaching tool, that only because we're different, just because someone's like, let's say like her, like she's handicapped, everyone's amazing. Like, everyone has their own powers. She's not broken. She's just a little different. It's amazing. I love it. But at the end of this episode, actually, I'm going to go back to that. Do you guys think that she's going to forgive him?
I think so, because she's such a good friend. She's such a good friend to him. I think that if he apologizes correctly, then she's gonna be like, well, okay, he didn't understand, and now he does understand. And I think that between Charlotte and his mom, I think he gets it now.
And I do think that scene where he and Charlotte are walking was such a great scene, because again, she kind of made him a little bit more aware of what he did. And I think, again, if he talks to his mom about it as well, then I think if he apologizes correctly, she'll come back.
I love how persistent he was about needing to apologize or needing to get a hold of her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, he's like, I'm not letting this go. Like, I need to talk to my friend.
Yeah.
So hopefully it gets him somewhere. At the end of this episode, everything that's when I just lost it. Okay. I can't even tell you how shook
I screamed so loud. My daughter was in the room with me watching, and she was like, you can't scream that loud. The neighbor, and we live in a house. Like, my neighbor is way next door. So, like, the neighbor's going to hear you and think something's crazy going on. And I was just like, I could not hold it in. I just flipped out.
No clues in any episodes.
Not
This
one.
was coming.
I
loved it.
The moment I saw the skin start to like light up, I was like, oh, no, you're the storm. Oh my God, you're the storm. And we don't know that fully yet. We obviously have an idea that now he's a part of everything.
Right.
But the fact that he wants to hurt Charlotte, actually, even before that, his anger gets him into a lot of trouble. It seems
That's true.
He's like a big baby. If something doesn't go his way, he throws a fit.
Yeah, he's very entitled.
But that anger, talking about controlling your superpowers, as soon as he gets angry, that's when he starts. I mean, you see that possessiveness in his eyes, and it's scary.
That moment brought me to, I was like, okay, the name of the episode, you won't like him when he's angry.
No.
So then he's like attacking Charlotte. We don't know if she makes it or she doesn't, but then Nicole walks into the situation, and she's like, her biggest concern is getting to Dion. I wonder how long it's going to take her to put two and two together. That Pat is really like the one to fear in the situation.
Right, because remember, she gets a phone call from Suzanne that says, like, there's a storm over your house right now when she's on her way home. So Suzanne actually called her, which again, I thought, okay, we're seeing a side of Suzanne.
That's true.
That is being helpful here.
Yep.
But yeah, by the time she gets there, she still doesn't know it's Pat.
Yeah, no. How in a million years
she won it.
would you think it's Pat?
I thought it was Suzanne. I thought it
Maybe
was...
he's like the lightning man with that little bowl cut. Then I'd be like, Pat, is that you? But otherwise, yeah.
I mean, it is a shocker, though.
If he is the villain, I am going to be just distraught. Heartbroken.
Charlotte can take him, though, I think. She's strong and powerful, and...
He's taking
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of people.
I think she's going to be another one to just go.
Aww.
And I love Charlotte. I definitely, in this episode, for me, again, I mean, I loved her character when they were doing the fighting scene, but I just kind of, again, this episode, I'm like, I am just rooting for Charlotte. So I don't want to see anything happen to her.
Me neither. I love her.
Well, we'll have to wait and see till next episode. I literally cannot wait to see how this ends.
Yes.
We just have one more episode. What were some of our sweetest moments from this episode?
I like that name.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ryan.
I think for me, I loved when Nicole showed up and he was like, they had their little moment when he just said, Mom, are you scared of me too? Because she showed up and he's like, baby, no. And she, you know, hugged him and they had a little huggy moment when he was kind of caught in Biona.
Yeah.
It was just cute.
I think for me, the sweetest moment was when they came back from Biona and it was after midnight and Kat was there because, you know, you guys know I'm all team Kat. And she had made shrimp and grits. And my sister, my big sister, my middle sister, Tasha makes the best shrimp and grits. And I was like, if that was me, my sister would do the same thing. So I just love that she stayed up late, waited till her sister got home, cooked her like one of her favorite meals. I just thought that was so kind and just like more bonding. I love to see that sister relationship.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we got a whole nother side of Kat than we did at the beginning of the season. Like,
Yes.
when she was, her character totally transformed. Mine was Rashad and Nicole, of course.
Of course.
I'm back, okay? I was about Pat last
back.
episode, but
No.
I'm back. I take it all back.
We flipped.
Kay had me going on her side for a little bit, but no, I'm back. I just loved it. I just love their chemistry. That's it. Their chemistry.
They do have good chemistry.
Amazing chemistry. And just, like I've said before, the fact that he takes her back to her dancing roots. I mean, not that I would ever want her to move on from Michael B. Jordan, a.k.a. Mark, but if she has to, if she absolutely has to, I'm totally on board with it being Rashad.
Yes,
I think I am too.
I'm not mad at Rashad.
I'm Team Rashad now. I never liked Pat. I just want you guys to know.
We have all the beef with Pat, none with Rashad. All right, ladies, let's get into some news and gossip. What do we have here today?
AfterBuzz TV News.
So I have some news about Carol Barbie. Carol Barbie is the writer and showrunner of Raising Dion. She also adapted the screenplay because we know Raising Dion was initially a comic and then became a short film. She has a new Netflix show coming out in 2020. So it's a whirlwind romance based on the young adult book series Dash and Lily, and it's set in one of my favorite places, New York City.
Nice.
So an unexpected pair of mismatched friends end up having more in common than they ever expected, and it ends up, I guess, in romance. So I love a good romance set in New York City. I'm super excited to see it coming into Netflix in 2020.
Nice.
So that's Carol Barbie.
I want them to let us know we're getting a second season.
Of Raising Dion.
Yeah,
That
we've
would
been
be amazing.
scouring the
I
internet
know.
trying to find
Every
any
day.
signs.
Nothing. We have nothing yet.
They said about Thanksgiving time.
Oh, okay.
So maybe over Turkey Day we'll get
that'll be our gift.
Raising Dion.
All right, ladies. Well, anything else that you guys would like to cover, or did we sum up the episode pretty well?
There was a lot in that episode. My head is still kind of like spinning with everything, and I can't wait for the next one.
It's going to be so good. I'm ready. All right, ladies, where can people find you on social media?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at It's Kahaila, ITSKAHALIA.
And I am on Twitter and Instagram at Suzi G Styles.
And you can find me on Instagram at Karla Contreras and Twitter at Karla_C. See you next time. Bye, everyone.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.